The first thing I noticed wasn't the ultrasound photo on the kitchen counter. It was the handwriting on the back. Not mine. Our little miracle. Can't wait to meet you. N. The pen had pressed hard, carving deep into the glossy paper, like whoever wrote it had been shaking. There was an intimacy in that line, an ease, that didn't belong to me, and Emily didn't even try to hide it. She was standing by the window, her belly a soft swell beneath her robe, framed by the late afternoon light. Her hair caught the sun like honey. She turned, smiled faintly when she saw me, but her eyes flicked too quickly to the counter, too quickly away again. I set my keys down beside the photo. I didn't know we printed these yet. Her hand fluttered to her stomach. Oh, yeah, the nurse gave them to me today. I forgot to tell you. She moved closer, too calm, too casual. She picked up the picture before I could touch it, her thumb gliding right over the back, the words, like she could erase them by warmth alone. Forgot? Huh. Yeah, it's been a long day. She smiled again. You know how I get when I'm tired. But I didn't know, not like this. Emily used to overflow with details. Every appointment, every craving, every little thing she felt growing inside her. She'd share it all. This version of her, the one carefully selecting which truths to speak aloud, was a stranger in my kitchen. Dinner was quiet that night. The air felt thick, syrupy, like sound couldn't travel properly. The scrape of her fork on the plate made me flinch. I watched her hands, the way she kept her phone screen tilted away. The way her laughter, when it came, was rehearsed, polite, wrong. At one point, her phone buzzed, lighting up with a preview. Can't stop thinking about today. I pretended not to notice. My chest burned with the effort. Who's that? I asked, keeping my voice flat. Just Nora, she said without missing a beat. She's asking about the baby shower. She'd always been a good lie about small things, little white lies to smooth over social tension. It's why I'd never imagined she could hide something real. Later, when she fell asleep, I sat on the edge of the bed staring at her phone on the nightstand. I told myself I wouldn't. That I was better than that. That trust mattered more than curiosity. But then I saw her stir, whisper a name in her sleep. Nick! A name that didn't belong in our house. My heart froze. I didn't sleep. I lay there, rigid, until dawn slid through the blinds and painted the wall in lines of cold light. When she finally woke, she smiled, kissed me softly, said she had errands to run. I nodded, said nothing. The second the door closed, I picked up her phone. The lock screen had changed, 6 digits instead of 4. She'd never changed it before. I sat there with the phone in my hands, feeling the weight of it like a live bomb. My palms were slick. My heartbeat filled the silence. I didn't guess. I didn't try. Instead, I opened my laptop and searched. Nick, Ultrasound Clinic, Meadowbrick Medical. Nothing. But when I searched Nick, Meadowbrick Street, one result hit. Nick Walters, 32, the guy who'd moved in next door 6 months ago. The friendly neighbor who'd helped Emily carry groceries when I was late from work. The one who smiled too long at her belly, made her laugh in the driveway. The one who'd borrowed my drill and never returned it. That evening, I saw him outside, washing his car, shirtless despite the chill. I stood at the window, watching. He saw me, raise a hand in lazy greeting. Something in me wanted to smash through the glass, to demand why, to end this unbearable guessing. But I just stared back until he dropped his gaze, uneasy, and turned away. Emily came home an hour later, humming, her cheeks flushed. I asked her where she'd been. Just lunch with Sarah, she said. I smiled. How's Sarah doing? She froze, barely perceptible, but enough. Oh, you know, same as always. Funny, I said. She called earlier. Said she hadn't seen you in weeks. The color drained from her face, and I could almost hear the silence tighten between us, like a wire pulled too far. Then came the flood of excuses. She must have misunderstood. I went for a drive, needed space. You're smothering me, Daniel. Her voice cracked on my name. That was the first time I realized she was afraid. Not of me, but of what I knew. The weeks that followed were a slow-motion collapse. Her smiles turned brittle. Mine disappeared altogether. We orbited each other like planets caught in decay, close enough to feel the pull but too far to touch. She avoided me in the mornings. I stayed late at work. We still shared a bed, but not the same dreams. Every night I thought of the ultrasound photo, of our little miracle. I'd imagined that moment so many times, seeing my child for the first time, hearing that heartbeat and thinking, that's half of me in there. Now every time I closed my eyes, I heard a different voice whispering the same words to her. One evening, I came home early. The house was quiet, lights off. Her car was in the driveway, but I couldn't find her. Then I heard a sound upstairs, muffled, intimate. A laugh. I froze. It wasn't loud. It wasn't obvious. It was worse, soft, careful, secret. I climbed the stairs slowly, every creak in the wood like a betrayal underfoot. The door to our bedroom was cracked open. Through the gap, I saw Emily sitting on the bed, phone pressed to her ear, her face glowing with something I hadn't seen in months. Joy. Yeah, she whispered. I saw the photo too. He hasn't noticed yet. Pause. A laugh. Don't say that. You'll make me blush. I backed away before she saw me. My body felt hollow, buzzing. Downstairs, I poured myself a drink. Then another. By the time she came down, smiling, eyes bright, I was sitting in the dark. She jumped when she saw me. Jesus, Dan, you scared me. Who were you talking to? I asked. Nora again. Her voice wavered. I nodded, looked at the floor. Good. And for the first time, I smiled back, not because I believed her, but because I finally knew how to break her lie apart. The next morning, Emily was gone before sunrise. She left a note on the counter. Early appointment. Don't wait up. Love you. The words felt foreign, mechanical, drained of the softness they used to carry. Still, I traced the ink with my thumb, pretending for a moment it meant what it said. But I already knew where she'd gone, and I knew who would be there. I followed her, not out of impulse, but with the slow, deliberate calm of a man who's already lost everything except the need for truth. Her car was parked behind Nick Walter's blue pickup on Meadowbrick Street. His house, the one with a half-finished porch and the new curtains in the upstairs window. I sat there, engine off, rain spattering against the windshield. My reflection blurred in the glass, eyes hollow, jaw tight, someone else entirely. For a long time, I did nothing. Just listened to the steady hiss of the rain, the faint pulse in my ears. I imagined walking up, ringing the bell, seeing the look on her face when she opened the door, the way she'd stammer my name. But when I finally stepped out of the car, it wasn't anger that moved me. It was something colder, a kind of quiet finality. The porch creaked under my weight. Voices drifted through the front window, low, intimate, wrapped in laughter. I couldn't make out the words, but the rhythm was unmistakable. I knocked once. The laughter stopped. A few seconds later, the door opened, and there she was. Emily froze, her mouth parting in shock. She wore the same robe from that morning, loosely tied. Behind her, Nick stood barefoot in jeans, his hair damp. Dan, she whispered, what are you doing here? I could ask you the same thing. Her lips trembled. It's not. Don't, I said softly. Don't lie. Not anymore. Nick shifted awkwardly behind her, his expression a mix of guilt and defiance. Look, man, maybe we should talk. I laughed, a sharp, ugly sound that didn't feel like it came from me. Talk? You've been doing plenty of that already, haven't you? Emily's eyes filled, and for a second, I saw the woman I'd fallen in love with, the one who used to cry during sad movies and apologize to strangers as she brushed past them too fast. But that image shattered under the weight of what she'd done. She followed me outside, rain soaking her robe, her hair plastered to her cheeks. Dan, please. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Then how was it supposed to happen? I asked. You'd just raise his kid and let me believe it was mine. Her silence said everything. I was going to tell you, she whispered. I just couldn't. When? After the baby was born? After I signed my name on the birth certificate. She looked at the ground, tears mixing with the rain. I made a mistake. No, I said. You made choices. I walked back to the car, but she caught my arm. Her grip was trembling. It wasn't just physical, she said. I was lonely. You were always working. You stopped looking at me the way you used to. I needed. Don't, I said again. Don't try to make this my fault. She shook her head violently. I'm not. God, Dan, you think I planned this? You think I wanted to hurt you? The look on her face wasn't arrogance. It was desperation. She believed, in some fractured part of herself, that love and betrayal could coexist, that the heart could justify anything if it hurt enough. But I'd run out of empathy. You should go back inside, I said. You're getting cold. Dan, go. She stood there for a moment longer, shivering, then turned and disappeared behind the door. I sat in the car, hands on the wheel, staring at the rain. I don't know how long I stayed. When I finally drove away, I didn't go home. I drove until the streets turned unfamiliar, and the city lights faded behind me. The next few days were a blur of silence. Emily tried calling, dozens of times. Texts, emails, voicemails I couldn't bear to open. Please come home. We need to talk. It's not what you think. I'm sorry. Each message sounded like an echo of the last, hollow and meaningless. I slept on my brother's couch. I went to work but didn't work. My colleague spoke in hushed tones, eyes full of the kind of pity that stings worse than scorn. At night, I replayed it all. The first lie, the first missed call, the way she'd laugh at something only she and he understood. I started to realize betrayal isn't a single moment. It's a series of small deaths you don't notice until the body's already cold. 3 weeks later, I came home to pack the rest of my things. The house was dim, quiet. The smell of her still lingered faintly, lavender and detergent and something warm, fading. She was there, sitting on the couch, a blanket around her shoulders. Her belly had grown. For a moment, time folded back on itself, and I saw us before everything fell apart, her laughter echoing through the halls, her head on my chest, whispering how she couldn't wait to start our family. Then she looked up, and I remembered. Dan, she said, voice roll, please. Just listen. I didn't move. I went to the doctor, she continued. They did a paternity test. Her words sliced the air like glass. I didn't breathe. It's his, she said. She began to cry, not the sharp, performative kind, but something deep, broken. I didn't want to lie anymore. You deserved the truth. For the first time, I believed her, and it made it worse. I sat down opposite her. The distance between us felt like an entire lifetime. You loved him. I asked. She hesitated. I thought I did. Maybe I still do, in some way. But it's not the same. He's not you. That's the problem. Emily, he wasn't me. And that's exactly why you did it. She looked away, shoulders shaking. You think I don't hate myself for it? I think you wanted to feel alive again, I said quietly. And you didn't care who burned for it. We sat in silence for a long time. Rain began again, soft against the windows, the same sound from the day everything cracked open. Finally, she whispered, "What now?" I stood. Now, you raise your child, and I find a way to live with the ghost of the man I was before this. As I turned to leave, she reached out one last time. Dan, for what it's worth, you would have been an amazing father. I stopped at the door. I still will be, just not here. I walked out into the rain, letting it wash the loss of her touch from my skin. The streetlights flickered on, gold in the mist. For the first time in weeks, the air felt clean, sharp, real. Grief and relief, two sides of the same wound, spread through me in waves. Behind me, the house stood still, full of memories that no longer belonged to me. Ahead, the road stretched into darkness, uncertain but mine. I started the car. As the engine rumbled to life, I looked once in the rearview mirror. Emily stood in the window, hand on her stomach, watching. For a moment, I almost turned back. Then I realized that what we'd lost wasn't just trust. It was the illusion that love could survive without truth. And that illusion, finally, was dead